Received the feedback that I didn't get a chance to talk about turmeric, and what I don't realize is every time we show a product, it's someone is seeing it for the first time.
Indeed.
And hundreds, if not thousands of people are seeing it for the first time. And so if I really don't discuss the product, I'm doing a bad job. So we were doing a tour and I didn't discuss the product. So now I want to discuss the product because what I said in passing was ordinary turmeric. Say if you put turmeric in your smoothie,
yes.
Turmeric root, it's healthy, it's beneficial, but not as much as you would have hoped. Because one of the inherent problems with turmeric in its natural form is that it's not very well absorbed and it's very rapidly cleared from our body and digestive system. So the way you overcome that, the most simple and straightforward way, has been discovered in India hundreds and hundreds of years ago. If you cook with turmeric, if you use turmeric and cook, say, in a stew, it gets naturally complexed with fat. And guess what? Mother Nature, at her best again, when you complex turmeric with fat, you not a little bit, you dramatically overcome its absorption challenges. So turmeric goes from being very poorly absorbed to being dramatically well absorbed when you complex it with fat. And that's exactly what we do. We complex it with fat, a fat that's important to your brain and a fat that's important to your liver, phosphatidylcholine, because turmeric, in addition to our joints, we talk about how soothing it is for our joints, but turmeric is also targets our brain, also targets our liver. There's another method for increasing the absorption of turmeric. It involves the use of like a black pepper spice called piperine. The reason why I don't like to use that is piperine could be irritating, but also piperine can change the absorptive characteristics of certain drugs. And when I offer my products, I like to leave that domain to the doctors and not have to make a product that might potentially require a warning about how it might change the absorption of certain medications you might be taking, which doesn't have to be provided with my turmeric, which naturally has enhanced absorption, just as they've been enhancing absorption in India for centuries by cooking with it and complexing it with fat. That's how we do it here.
Pricing wise, we have extra special savings again on this one. So the 4 sizes, 30, 60, 120, or the 240 that you can see. Fabulous for this quality of turmeric, and that's what's really important here. So if you take a look, if you want to try it out, see what it does for you. Very soothing ingredient with a lot of history to it, many thousands of years. Savings obviously significant, certainly down towards the 240 caps. Normally it'd be $130 today. It's under 90, saves you $40. It's intriguing to me, and I did this the last time I was on with Andrew. If you Google turmeric and you look at some of the results that come up, it is really remarkable.
No, what's fun is, especially if you do it on a scientific site, I like doing things like you put in turmeric and on Google and other search engines, it does autofill. So you'll see turmeric and brain, turmeric and liver, turmeric and you name it. And especially if you do it on the National Institute of Health website in terms of looking at clinical studies and science. And if you just even put in turmeric research or turmeric clinical science, then you'll tend to get the good stuff, the meaty stuff. Because again, magazine articles, all very interesting, and it often summarizes the science. But what really gets exciting about turmeric is when you actually see the conclusions in the science. And there's pretty much not a system and not a key organ in the body that escapes the benefits of turmeric. So again, 1 capsule a day, and of course, gentle on your stomach like all of my products. People worry it's turmeric spice, it's going to be spicing, it's going to be problematic. Not at all. In fact, our turmeric is going to exert a soothing effect on your digestive system, not a harsh effect.
It is, and I encourage you, even if you don't shop for this right now, and I hope you do, but just remember tonight when you get into bed, do a Google search, turmeric and, just like Andrew showcased, you'll be blown away by the history, the legacy of what really is a wonder ingredient. So I'm thrilled we got a chance to speak about it. Obviously, turmeric is something that a lot of people are really turned onto and referred to. This is not standard turmeric, this is the best.
And yes, and most of the turmeric products you'll see on the market are just straight standardized extract of turmeric. They're a 95% extract, which is a great extract. But despite it being a great extract, unless something is done to enhance its absorption, and there are some more synthetic methods to enhance absorption, which I'm not in favor of. The 2, quote, natural ones, the most natural of all is what we do by complexing it with fat. The other one, using a black pepper spice, Could have implications for how you process medications, so that I'm not quite as keen on. The proper way to go about doing it is as we do it here. And again, with turmeric, we talk about it for liver detoxification. We talk about it for our digestive system. We also talk about it for our brain. So it's something that definitely delivers the benefits of turmeric and does it in a fashion that's mild, won't upset your stomach, and soothing above all. I think the #1 reason why people supplement with turmeric is soothing for their joints. They want something that's soothing for their joints, but not going to be, say, challenging for their stomach and digestive system.
Well, it's just after 9 p.m. here on the West Coast.
Yes.
I keep saying West instead of East or versus West, but we are here in Henderson, Nevada, the site of Andrew's incredible facility where your vitamins are going to be made.
It's just after 6 p.m. on the West Coast. It's just after 9 p.m. on the East Coast.
And our clock is saying 9, which is why
Yes.
I'm all over the
Yes.
place. International, that's what we are. We're going to head over this.
And it's a little after midnight in London. London's 5 hours ahead, so it's going to be about 2 a.m.